ultimate jam band community podcast where the grooves are endless and the vibes are infectious. This month, join us, your hosts, Kara, that's me, Niki, and Jess, as we talk about finding love in the jam scene, the new Goose drummer and tour dates, the Orebolo Cap tour, and Jam of the Year. Lastly, stay tuned to the end to help us connect two lovebirds from Gooseness. Off we go! To start us off, this is just Jess and Kara talking about the hot news in the Goose scene. Niki is working, so we are here together chatting.
Hi.
Hi.
So big Goose news. We got Cotter and tour dates and TED tapes.
TED tapes. So very TED.
What a week for us.
Yes, we went from nothing to having something, and I'm happy. And then we had Orebolo, right? So like this first and second week of February has been intense for sure.
Honestly, thank God, because my timeline, like, we needed something new to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. Being at Orebolo though, is like, it just felt so good to be back a little bit, even temporarily, and everybody talking about Cotter and like the TED tapes is great. I have to say though, like, I know we're not in the Orebolo section yet, but somebody had a flag at Orebolo hanging from the balcony that said Mamu, M-A-M as in Mary you, Mamu, play Mamu. So it will always forever live in my head as Mamu.
No, it's been an exciting few weeks for us, thankfully. TED tapes, just thank God there's something new to listen to. We're not getting a tour till summer, so something long to hold us over. Hyped.
Yes.
And then Cotter, yeah.
New drummer. Goose has a drummer. Yay, we're excited.
We had no doubt that we were gonna have a drummer.
Yes, but a good drummer.
But the day they announced it, one of my friends from college texted me and was like, LOL, I went to high school with Cotter. He was always getting suspended for weed and shit. And I was like, perfect. He'll fit in with the community. We are here for this. Welcome to the family.
Yes, welcome to the fam. We're not implying that you're still getting in trouble. We're just excited that you fit into the crew.
Yes. And if you are still getting in trouble, awesome. We love it. But no, this is going to be fantastic. He sounded great on TED tapes. Really excited to see what the new tour is going to lead us to and have some new music. You apply for the lottery for anywhere?
Yes. So I did both Colorado shows because my aunt lives across the street from the venue, so I can just
party there at Kara's aunt.
Woo! They have a big backyard. I can make it happen. Pre-party at my place, at my aunt's place, not my place. I'm sure she's going to listen to this and be very angry.
Sorry.
It's okay. She's cool shit. So we have new tour dates. I have Colorado that I'm going to do a part of the Northeast run. So that would be New Haven, Philly, and Forest Hills.
Everyone I know won the Forest Hills lottery. So party at Forest Hills.
We're bringing all of our friends that don't know anything about Goose.
I'm bringing everyone. Every time I'm at a show and I post on my Instagram, all my friends are always like, why didn't you let me know? I'm like, it's not my job to let you know that Goose is playing, but now we have tickets and there's a New York City show, so let's see if we can bring everyone we know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a blast if we get everybody and just like hold down the fort on the floor, just have a big giant circle. It's gonna be great.
I'm definitely gonna be in the bowl, not the floor, but
I'm on the floor.
My crew, we won probably, I think, 50-50 floor versus bowl, but I am 5 feet tall. I'm over the floor now. It's just not worth it.
That's fair. The only problem with the bowl at Forest Hills is that unless you get straight on from the stage, you feel like you're a million miles away. It's kind of hard. You can see just fine. I think it's really as far as we were at Goosemas, so it's really not that bad, but Forest Hills is just like steeper, so it feels like you're higher up. And the sound is great. the sound at Forest Hills, no matter where you're at, is great. So you'll be fine.
I mean, between all
I
of us, I can make a game time decision if I want to be on the floor, but
Yeah,
it's just a less fun experience for me.
that's
So
fair. That's totally fair. I mean, we
just
have
think,
all pre-show, we have all after show. It'll be fine for us to all be together, but the flock will be there. I think the whole flock will be there, right?
I think
Niki's
the whole flock plus some.
plus them. Yeah, so Niki will also be there and we're gonna have a big party. So let's do it.
It's always a big party. And we have our guide to New York City for those coming in and planning. Don't forget to check that out. And I've added a Brooklyn tab to it, so starting to put in more places. But that is a comprehensive guide to eating in New York
Oh,
City.
we'll also have to add Queens.
One
Yeah,
of my best friends from college lives in Forest Hills, so I will make sure to get her recommendations in
yeah.
it.
We'll add some good spots in Astoria too.
I'm still waiting on Westville because that's hometown venue for me. And it's a gorgeous venue.
Did I
And
say New Haven before?
yes, but that's Westville's like a
It's in
suburb of New
New
Haven.
Haven. Okay. I was like, I knew I was going to like Connecticut.
It's Westville's like the part of New Haven between downtown New Haven and my hometown.
Gotcha.
So I drive through
Nice.
Westville every time I'm home. It's lovely.
Yeah.
And there's really good food there, which I will definitely make a guide to New Haven food. Obviously pizza is important, but there's more than that. So over when it gets closer to the summer, I will put that out there.
All right. So recap of Orebolo or Orebolo or Bolo tie.
Orebolo.
I have been to now 8 shows and I still say it wrong. However, I do have confirmation from Jeff that it is a mispronunciation of his last name. So it doesn't matter how you say it. He has told me this. But yeah, Bolo tie. We had a great show. I had 3 great shows.
I did nights 2 and 3, and they were my first Orebolo shows. So very exciting. Plus I just love the Cap. It's my favorite venue to go to. It's so easy from the city. And since the floor is slanted, I can usually see. So thank you to the tall people who pushed me in front of you.
Yep.
Appreciate you. Happened a couple times. People saw me struggling and were like, "Oh, stand in front of me." Thank you. I got to actually watch.
Yeah, you can
Very
actually
exciting.
see little heads versus like seeing other people's heads. Great.
Yeah, it was great. So appreciate you tall people for doing the Lord's work for me. But no, the shows were great. I obviously only went to 2 out of 3, but every night got a little better, especially with chompers.
Yeah, the chompers were a pretty bad night one. Once the Zip It cards came out, shout out to Caroline of Rising Tide Art Studio who made those and handed them out. They were even put on the merch table at one point, so like people got the message, and over the 3 nights it got better and better. There were still a few the third night, but I think like most people were starting to catch on.
I definitely had a better experience the third night than the second one, just with chompers. I did hand out one Zip It card. Thank you, Caroline. And they zipped it when I handed it to them. A little awkward because you have to stand near them after you hand them the card for the rest of the show. But it's a cute little business card that she made. And I was trying to be nice about it. Just like, shh, we all want to be here. We love the music. We're here for a good time. I don't care about your personal conversation. Although I can definitely be guilty of chomping myself sometimes. Not this
Jess.
show. I was quiet.
At Goosemiths, you were a bit chompy.
Yeah,
I gave you the evil eyes for some reason. At some point, I would turn around. I was like, better zip it.
I,
Zip
yeah,
it.
um, sometimes we like to talk. It depends on what we've done that day. So, but no, we were good for Orebolo. Otherwise, I feel like Jeff would have singled me out personally. Jess,
Just
get
zip it.
it.
Next time I'll be sure to tattle.
Yeah, he would definitely call me out personally, and I don't need that shit. So sorry. But jumping back to Rebelo,
Yes.
that's where we started. The shows were great. It definitely reignited some of my interest in some of the songs. Like, This Old Sea is not a song that I usually put on to listen to in my daily life. I usually lean towards some of the faster, dancier songs, but the Orebolo version just like hit my heartstrings. It
It's so
was so
pretty.
beautiful. So that's definitely one that I'll be revisiting. There are a couple for sure that just like you see these songs in a different light than when they're jamming them out with like an electric guitar. And it was just really pretty. And then watching Jeff slap the
Slap in the
bass,
bass.
it looks like a mega cello.
It's an upright bass. That's what an
Yeah,
upright bass looks like, but a
I'm
cello is a
gonna
little bit
pretend.
smaller.
No.
No,
We're
Jess,
pretending he
don't
plays
do
the cello.
not get this wrong. We are gonna get enemies if you get this wrong. Please don't do that. We
Play
already
the
have enemies
cello.
because you're not sold on fish.
Oh, fuck off, fish people. Sorry, don't quote me on that. Fish was
That's
fun. It was great. I had a blast. I've actually been re-listening to the Gamehenge set a bunch. So I am on board. But I'm Jeff,
um
play that cello.
for me, I finally got my first Mad Worlds cover. I that was like my favorite song growing up. I love that song. And I finally got it live, so I was happy about that. And then I'm bummed we didn't get a acoustic SOS because that is my favorite song of all
Oh,
time.
that would have been
Um,
beautiful.
but I did get that in Boulder when I saw them play in Boulder before Goosemas 2022. So I got it at least once, but it was like I was hoping for it. Yeah, I loved it. I think it was just good to be back in the scene with people that we know and seeing our guys play because they're amazing and just felt good to be back, especially after waiting and all the craziness that's been going on in the scene. It's just like to see everybody happy together and experiencing the thing that we love the most is actually going to the shows and being with each other. So
It was so great to see so many faces, even just from Goosemas, but like all of our friends at the Cap, people flew in. It was just really exciting to like, and then put more faces to names. Like there was a ton of people I met that I had known from Twitter that I've like put faces to names at Goosemas, but then even more at the Cap for Orebolo. There was someone I was talking to and I was like, we stood next to each other at a show before once, right? They were like, yeah, I know your face. I'm like, that's so exciting. Let's be actual friends.
yeah, we all know each other. It's like really happening. It's kind of great. So
I love it. We did at Orebolo get a ton of first time played songs, a bunch of covers. Night one, I'm kind of glad I wasn't there, only because it looked really sad. And
it,
all I can think about is like an Orebolo show being like an Adele concert where everyone's just sitting there crying the whole time.
well, when you start the entire tour or the entire run with Lead the Way, and then
That's
people are crying about their passed on puppies, like like how are we supposed to start the run? Like it was a very sad day. Very sad set.
Lead the Way is the one Goose song I'm chasing. Like it's the only one I really haven't seen ever. And my middle name is Sadie. So I'm like, I need to see that song. I feel a connection. Like four people texted me when they opened with it. There's your Lead the Way.
Yeah, but maybe not the acoustic version because it's
Yeah,
even
exactly.
more
I wouldn't have
emotional.
counted it. I
Yeah.
want a Goose version. I will get one.
And then I
Uh,
think we got Not Alone in that set in that show. We got
mhm.
I don't know,
Dim
all the
Lights.
Dim Lights. I got all the sad songs that first day and I was like I was in my feels for sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was intense, but it was so much fun. But I kind of went on my own and I just like found people there and I was totally cool with doing that one alone. And then I
Yeah.
just
I
kind of
think
left by myself. So I got to feel all my feels on the train. And then I ran into some other people on the train. So
naturally. But no, Arevalo was great. I'm glad I've seen them finally. But I'm also kind of glad it's like a rare thing. I said it to a couple of my friends after night two. I was like, I still like a Goose show more. And they were like, obviously. That's why they don't tour as often. It's supposed to be a special or more special.
very intimate. And it's supposed to, like, to me, I feel like a Rebelo or bolo tie, whatever we call it. To me, it's like a really good display of their musicianship, right? Like that's what it is for me. It's like with Goose, yeah, you kind of see it, but like with Rebelo, like you see actually how talented all three of them are at guitar and bass and things that we don't really see when we're far away at a big stage, and like we're really there for the like the lights and the experience versus like actually watching like what they're doing. You get to really see that in these shows, and that's what's so special to me, and it's so heartwarming, and but it's different. It's not a party. It's not like you can party, sure, if you want, but like to me, it's like
No, I disagree with
you're
that.
there. You're
The
there to
people on
feel it.
Molly there, I don't understand. Like,
What a waste of drugs.
what a waste of drugs to go to an Orebolo show, take Molly, talk the entire time.
Yeah.
I don't get that, but I mean, to each his own. But no, I agree. It was really special to be able to just watch Jeff like switch between using his fingers and the bow on the upright bass. And then watching like Rick actually like pick a guitar up close, and he's so talented. These men just like ooze talent. And then, Peter's face is just the most endearing thing to watch in the
Yeah.
entire world. Like,
And
sure, I could watch him play guitar, but I could also just watch his face be happy. And
yeah.
that's even better.
And that's the other thing too, is like there have been Goose shows where like it seems like everybody's having fun, but they're definitely performing. Like I think in these shows, like they're actually there to have like a lot of fun and just like enjoy playing their instruments. And that's a difference for me too. Like Goose shows are always fun, and I think Peter and all of them are always having fun, but it's not the same kind of fun, I guess. It's like performative a little bit with Goose. And it's not so much with This month, we are talking about love here on the Flock Talk Pod. So let's chat a little bit about finding love in our community and how to do that.
For me, just to begin, like when I was looking for a partner, it was really important to me that someone understood the jam community. Like, I know I'm newer to the scene, but it's become such a big part of my life that I can't imagine having a partner that wasn't interested in going to concerts with me. It's such a big part of my life, and like I found Andrew at a concert, so like that was already a given in our relationship, but even more so, like it was really important to me that that was like a value alignment.
Yeah, I agree with that. Um I mean, since I've been kind of dating since after the pandemic anyway, I've been on the apps, as everybody knows. In our last podcast, we talked about that. I've been on the apps, and something that, I struggled to find there was like people who are in the jam and even just the music or festival scene, right? Like that's been so important to me because I travel for those things, and I go, I might just choose one day to go to Denver and go see some shows because that's, it's important to me to be able to go out there and do that.
Right. Who else is
But
gonna pick up on a random Tuesday and go to a Bigfoot rave? It was a
um,
Saturday, but yes.
yes. But yeah, I mean, it's so important because it's also subculture, right? Like there are things that probably pop culture people wouldn't really necessarily understand, like our love of bubble guns and wearing glitter and
And Twitter memes, like who I need to be able to send someone my stupid jam Twitter memes that I see.
yeah, and then like sending each other songs, like listen to this 30-minute jam. So good, like I could never do that with just some rando from the internet that, well, not from the internet, from the apps, right?
When I
I
was on
couldn't do that.
Hinge, one of my Hinge prompts was all I ask is that, and my filled it in with you go to a Goose concert with me. And the amount of people who are like, what is Goose? You're not coming. Doesn't matter.
Mine, I have the prompt. Well, I had the prompt on my Hinge that said like, "Ask me anything about," and then one was like "Goose the band," and then another one's my corgi, something like that. And like I would every once in a while somebody would pop in and be like, "Oh yeah, I saw them play at Radio City," or "I saw them do this," right? Or like, "Do you like fish?" So I would have some people jump in and know it, but like it still ended up being the same conversation. So I don't recommend using standard general dating apps for finding love in the community for sure.
So I met Andrew at a show I've mentioned a couple of times at the Cap. I had just gone to a show. I ended up going in by myself and becoming friends with him. The jam scene is so male dominated that sometimes going to a show by yourself, I know we've talked about it, or even when you're with your group of girls at a show, it can be kind of intimidating to be surrounded by a bunch of men. And then especially when you add in substances or just creepy men in general. I know we've talked a lot about creepy men before. When a random man like comes up to you and is just like, let's make out, or says something inappropriate to you, it's kind of a turn off. And then it feels like it makes it even harder to then look for that significant person in the scene when you're there.
No, I mean, I agree with that. I think if you are using the jam scene to find connection with people, right, doing it in that kind of way, it's just going to turn people off, right? Like, you still have to be respectful of women. And even if you're a man trying to date another man, you still need to be respectful, right? I think normal dating rules still apply, right? Respect is still important.
Buy me a drink at set break, or ask me about what song I liked during set break or after the show. But don't come up to me being like, you're the most beautiful person I've ever seen. Like, come home with me tonight. Like, I'm going to say no to that. Well, I'm going to say no to anything, but in a past life.
Yeah. And like, again, normal dating rules still apply. Ask for the person's phone number and send them a text and say, hey, it was great meeting you. I would love to take you out for a drink sometime and maybe we could chat about the show, right? Or I'd love to give you a call sometime, or let's text, right?
That reminds me, one of our friends, I made her a bracelet with her phone number on it that said text me to give out to men at shows whenever she sees someone cute, because you don't really want to talk to someone mid-set. And at set break, people disperse, and after the show, it gets kind of wild. But it's something you could tap someone and just hand them the bracelet, like, text me, here's my phone number.
That is such a good idea. I love that.
You just got to put yourself out there. I made the first move with Andrew, actually. I asked him to spend the show with me because I was going in by myself. And then, well, okay, he did grab my hand first, but then I took that as an okay signal. And then I kissed him first, which it worked out for the better. But
Yeah, I definitely agree with putting yourself out there. I think there's a lot of ways to do that, right? Being authentic about who you are alone, right? Like, will attract people. Like, even just having a conversation, you're just being yourself. Like, somebody will find that attractive and ask you for your phone number. Or you can do what I did and put yourself out there on Twitter and create fake set lists. Then you'll have people compliment you for that. And that's a really good way. Obviously you don't have to copy my set list. You can if you want, but that's still doing something like that to get noticed, right? Is certainly, that's something that's you though, right? Don't do it just for the purpose of getting noticed, but do something that's totally you. Wear a cool outfit. You'll get people noticing you that way.
or even just show up and be by yourself and be your confident self. Confidence definitely attracts other people. Going to a show alone can be scary, but also really rewarding in the fact that you are out there. People notice that you're alone and they want to chat with you, and you might make friends.
Yeah. I mean, friends, I know this episode's about love, but love can be platonic too, right? And that's how we can make connections, right? And connections come in all forms. So be your authentic self and love yourself and be confident. Confidence is scary, especially when you're by yourself, if you're at a show by yourself, but I definitely goose shows, and I think at fish shows too. People are always willing to be your friend. Like, talk to your neighbors, talk to people. You never know; they might have a connection for you too. So,
another suggestion, I know, especially since we've started the podcast, I just hand out stickers at shows, and that's always a great conversation starter. If you like make your own sticker, or you make something, a bracelet for someone.
Yeah, that's how I started meeting people. As I was bracelet girl. I made a bunch of goose themed bracelets, and I put song names on them, and I put little charms on them, and I just hand them out, and people remembered me from that. They're like, "Oh yeah, I have one of your bracelets still." Yeah, and I started doing that and made a lot of friends that way.
It's an easy conversation starter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you are too scared to approach someone at a show, you can always reach out to us. We did launch Missed and Made Connection. We did get a submission. We'll be happy to help connect you to someone using our resources. If there is someone you want to chat with that maybe you didn't get a chance to at a show, as long as you please be respectful.
Yes, respect is key.
I guess, though, we'll close this out by passing it over to our dear friend Niki to talk to her partner, Matt. You'll hear a little conversation about them and how they met, which was, spoiler alert, through the jam scene.
Mostly goose.
Mostly goose. They have the jam scene in common and how they've made their relationship work over the last, I want to say, 3 years.
Yeah, since the pandemic, really. They met in person during the pandemic and
made a long distance relationship work, and it's actually a really beautiful story.
So yeah, we'll pass it along to that right now.
This is Niki. Today I have the pleasure of talking to my partner, Matt. We're going to talk about a little bit of how we met, the jam community, and how it works, and go from there. So I'm going to introduce Matt first, and he can give you guys a little bit of background on him. Go ahead, baby.
Hi, I'm Matt Ferrara. You might know me as Matt for Math. Maybe not. My jam community involvement, it started back in college when I was seeing the Grateful Dead. It wasn't really much of a group thing for me. However, back then it was more just trying to drag people to go to shows. That started happening with Fish when I started seeing them in '99, which was kind of a while after the Dead stopped. And again, same thing. It was always just me going to a show and trying to drag somebody. I even drove from New Jersey up to Hartford and back, and Albany and back, 2 different nights, 2 different shows, just to go with different people. Wind up, life happens, married, kids, all that stuff. And wound up taking a long hiatus from Fish and from seeing shows in general. Saw Kimmock for a while before that and during that, but not really any, thing real social. Yeah. And then Twitter, in 19, I discovered the Baker's Dozen, which happened in 17, like 45 minutes from my house by train. And I didn't even really know what happened until 2 years later, and started getting into YouTube and all the Fish 3.0, I guess it's called. And then started connecting with other guitar players on Twitter, formed a little Zoom group during, pandemic stuff. Once I heard Goose, I kind of got bit in the butt by them. But, a couple of big Fish shows got me in. That big Garden Tweezer in 19 kind of came at a big personal point in my life. Divorce kind of starting to happen there. And really connected to music being a vehicle for me to get through something emotionally and in my life. And it had been since college until since that had happened, and it totally reinvigorated me. And by this time, I started to become, just through social media, started to become more social at shows than I ever was before. Just through meeting people and talking and being authentically interested in the music, and a little contentious and things like that around bracket season, because I like to just have friendly, banter about, some of this stuff sometimes. And then started forming community, and, through a little bit of that, met Niki, and then we just went all these adventures, seemingly when everybody else was home, and we were out, I remember going to a hotel in Pennsylvania, and we were the only car in the parking lot during the pandemic, because we just wanted to see each other, because it's a long distance thing. We'll get to that, I guess. But the jam thing was really the commonality. I remember talking about jam brackets with you, or talking about Fish brackets, what song versus another, and then versions of that.
Song
And just,
brackets, yeah.
yeah. And that's just how we, I'm like, oh, you got to listen to this. And we would listen to a song at the same time. And then it was, kind of how we connected was all, the music was the background, for that. And without the music there, that wouldn't have happened. And so for me, it was just a lot of things. It was rediscovering the music on my own, seeing it as a way to kind of help me navigate life, through just going to shows and things like that, and the music itself, the poignancy of the lyrics, the spaces that the music can take me in terms of emotional stuff. I mean, my first or second Goose shot, I cried at the encore, and it was Disco Inferno. But I was so taken by the moment and the music and me being there and everything else going on in my life, that I could hear in the little lyrics throughout the songs. It wasn't a thread of anything else except for me. And other people had different threads of what connected them. And then coming back out of that and sharing those passions with the love of my life. It's the coolest thing.
That's sweet. Thank you, honey.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how did you get into the Dead originally?
I was thinking about this earlier, and it has to be before I ever even listened to a note of their music, but just listening to music in general in the back of my dad's car, the doo-wop shop, which is all 1950s stuff on Sunday nights, going back and forth from the shore, which we would do every spring and summer, and just having music on my brain, songs in my head. I remember taking a trip in 8th grade, a van trip from Jersey down to Williamsburg, Virginia, go to Busch Gardens and stuff. And I was sitting, back then, sitting like shotgun, and our gym teacher, athletic director, whatever, he was quizzing us on just all these oldies, and I knew like almost everyone. And he's like, "How do you know this stuff?" I'm like, "It's just that's my encyclopedia is all these old tunes." And that led me into just liking music in general. I went to prep school. The Dead were prevalent there. It's where I heard my first Fish tapes in like 91, 92 in art class. A friend of mine had a brother that went to like Middlebury in Vermont, and I was getting, listening to the Gamehenge show from like 93. I remember having that on a cassette or actually on a disc that was 3/22/93, maybe Sacramento. That's right. So just early on in high school and then beyond was listening to live Dead. I had Dead tapes from Sister's Boyfriend. That really got me into it. And it was stuff from like 82, which I really don't really like the 80s Dead very much. Although, ironically, this week I started to get into some of that, bits and pieces. So yeah, it was just my mind was ripe for music that I think because of the oldies stuff, like the Americana, but also like a lot of the Motown. So honoring, Black artists was not something foreign to my house, my vocabulary, and all that stuff. Beatles, not in my home, but like in the
Crazy.
car, like if my mom, like maybe my dad didn't like the Beatles, wouldn't necessarily turn it off, but like wasn't something that I associate with him liking at all. But again, he called them the finally dead when Jerry died. Like
Ouch.
he mocked them in my life because of
So
what they all
cool.
represented, which is kind of interesting because he's since passed, and I've had these conversations with him about like that's just it's what music was for you, it's what the Stones were for you, like that's what this is for me, and it's all part of the journey. But yeah, it definitely starts with my dad fostering just an interest in music. My mom did too. She just kind of, different tastes. And now, I mean, I'll listen to Goose. I mean, you and I, like, we listen to Goose with her over Zoom
Yeah, we watched
or
a
over
stream over
FaceTime. Yeah, the
Zoom.
stream with like the acoustic echo and Rosewood. And
That was so funny.
so, music's always been supported. I started playing guitar in high school. Not really in earnest until college, but it's always been kind of for me in my inner circle. But the Dead, something about it is actually something you mentioned to me. Just Jerry's playing like my own. It was like the biggest compliment you could give me. It was like it's just emotion coming out. It's a story, and that's what led me to Rick. It was just first time I heard that, I was just like, this is someone telling a story through this music. And not that Trey doesn't do that with Fish, but for me the Fish stuff was all about my Uncle Harvey giving me sending me albums or giving me stuff for Christmas with like Junta and Nectar. And I was like, the jazz guitar on here, it's just beautiful. Like the sound was that was jazz guitar for me when I was listening to Fish. It was like
Harvey
I
gave you
like
those?
yeah, I was like, this was
Cool.
jazz guitar. Like I love that sound. And then that's why I didn't see Fish until 99 when, the Dead were done in 95. Like I wasn't into their live stuff, Fish. I wanted that studio sound. I wanted Rift. Like when I got Rift, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the best.
Yeah.
Except for
Great.
like lengthwise. Like what? Both of them. Like twice? Like, come on.
Don't go there.
Throw the drummer a
Don't go
bone.
there.
The band's already named
Don't
after him. That's enough.
Go there. Don't go there, honey. And how did we meet? Do you remember? Because I remember specifically.
Yeah, you catfished. You posted a picture on Twitter
You
from
seen
like
Catfish?
from
It was
like
Throwback
college.
Thursday. It
I
was
didn't know
Throwback
that. I didn't know
Thursday.
that. You posted a picture from like college.
No,
And
it wasn't
I
college.
didn't
It was
know
after
that, or
college.
after college. Or,
It was
anyway, you
before
posted a
Alex,
picture
but in my 20s.
in glasses, which you happen to be wearing now, mind you. Um, and I just engaged like with a comment, said something or other, and
I know what you said.
yeah, me too. Just you got to give me a minute, but yeah, it was a word that
Somebody else had commented on it.
yeah, it was Dan. That's what got me interested. Or my close friends said something, I think, right? Or was it something maybe that was
Beautiful.
something different? I said beautiful?
No, somebody else
No.
said beautiful,
Yeah.
and you said indeed.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Yeah.
Indeed. And that is
Indeed.
what triggered me because I don't think anybody's ever used the word indeed to
Yeah.
agree.
No? Oh wow, that's but for me it was that was March of 20.
No, that was like February of 20.
In and around then. Yeah. No, whatever. I'm not gonna disagree.
Can't.
Well, I can, but I'm choosing to
You'd be
not.
wrong.
Well, that's not the part of the story. But no, I remember that I was just in a place, and like usually, where I don't know, it was just poignant. I felt comfortable talking about like dating again. I was married, but divorcing, separated, and that's not something I throw around lightly. And I didn't think it was something that you would have either. Um, I think in and around like after we started like chatting, like it was maybe even before. Like I look, you Facebook stalk people, which is what people do, and I just you know knew that you were that person. Like, okay, that's you because you were an El Goose, which I was active in El
Yes.
Goose on Facebook, and like that was a
At the
cool group
time,
at
that
the
was
at
that
the
was a cool
time. Yeah.
a cool group to be in. Not
Well, it
so
was like
much
what
anymore.
BGT
Yeah.
was for a little, and the essence of it is, I guess, that like
Hmm.
it's people who you were seeing at shows that
Yeah.
were local or not necessarily local. And
Didn't
if
you
I
go to
go to a
shows with
show,
some guys from El Goose before you did Twitter?
I went to no, it was Fred, so 20. Was that 20 or 21? 21.
Fred was 21, yeah,
Yeah,
spring of
so
21.
spring 21, I went to I with people that I only knew from like there was the drive-in shows,
Hmm.
and they were, a car pass was 4 people, but you could add a fifth. And I was on El Goose being like, hey, I need to be a fifth wheel for somebody, and I found 2 different people. One was a gold, one was a silver, and we wound up using my car both days because I was just like camped out. I was like sixth online, and like we were like second row for that flood out
Oh
arrow
yeah,
show hose.
that's where
Got
the show hosts come from, guys.
a
I saw Matt on
and,
the stream and some girl was talking to him and I asked him if it was his show
and
ho.
I'm like, who? I'm like, who are you talking about? I wasn't talking to. I don't even
You
know
were
what
in
you're
like
talking
the
about.
front row. You could
And then I
totally
look and
see
I'm like, oh yeah, there's somebody next to me, and I was just like, whatever. Um,
it.
but that was yeah, met those guys in El Goose, and then a couple of the other guys from El Goose Times, through there, and actually handed out that at Fred. And that's where I
Yep.
met a bunch of Twitter folk, and it migrated over to Twitter, at least for me, in terms of all the engagement. Even though a lot of people left and went to other platforms, for me, that's still the primary place where I connect with these,
Oh yeah.
folks. El Goose, I rarely go to anymore. There's some other Facebook groups like specific to like guitar or shows you're going to go to, which I kind of think is cool. Like if you're going to go to a run of shows, like there's a little Facebook group for it, and so you can kind of connect with people beforehand about where to go, where to maybe stay, and looking forward to that for some upcoming gigs that the bands are doing.
I remember you making that comment and then I looked at your picture and I was like, "Oh my God, this guy is so cute." And it was the dorkiest picture ever. It was the one with you with like the handlebar mustache that went all the way back and connected to your sideburns. And
Oh
you
my
were like
gosh.
doing a selfie and you had a hat on and you're like
Hmm.
cheesing it up. It was so cute.
I think I remember, yeah, because we talked. I think I sent it to you. I don't know if I posted that one.
It was
but we had
posted.
it was
It was on,
posted.
it was posted, and that's what I was like. I was showing my friend at work. I'm like, look how cute his smile is, and she's like, yeah, but what's up with the mustache?
It's so funny because that was the first time I ever had one. Because I grow a beard all the time just because I was number one lazy and number two like it was irritating to shave like every day like for work. Like why? Like what's it to you?
Yeah,
And then I just like shaved it off, one day just to see like how like just kind of just sort of extreme it would maybe be. And I'm like,
so funny.
okay, I'm gonna leave the house like this just for a day. And I did. I wore it for a day and then shaved it. Or maybe
It was
2 days or
adorable.
something. It wasn't a lot. Because I'm like, I don't want to go out like that.
But
And
it was so
then,
cute.
fast forward to pandemic and I just grew it and Goose was certainly part of it because of just it was kind of one of their things, I guess. But
Oh, it was totally one of their things.
yeah. But it was weird. I remember my mom asking me like what's with the like, what's with the mustache? And I'm like, I don't know, it just feels like me. And I remember shaving it, which I do now maybe like once, twice a year. We'll shave it like just recently, it's like 3 weeks. And I walked by myself in a mirror with it shaved and like I didn't like what I saw. So anyway, that's why I went back with it. And I think part of it is it's a little goofy, but it's also like it's not. It's me and I like kind of maybe it's just a fun way to express yourself and that you're not
I think
uptight
so.
about things and that you're not uptight about things and you like it. If you didn't like it, I wouldn't
I love your
necessarily have
mustache.
you.
I love your mustache. I think it's
Yeah, you
adorable.
do.
I also love your face though. I like seeing your lips like
Yeah, I
now.
know.
It's so
Me
cute.
too. We were on, we were in Twitter and then we were texting and then we were FaceTiming
Yeah, but I'm
and
the one
then
that DM'd you. I'm the one that slid into your DMs.
you say whatever you want.
It was me. You didn't
Okay.
start it. I was the one that started it.
I threw it out in the timeline though. So hey,
You did
indeed.
not. You just put
Indeed.
Indeed, and I thought that was so cute because it made you
Just
sound smart.
yeah, but that was the first
And I like me
salvo.
some smart,
No worries.
dorky guys.
Hell yeah. That's what it's about. Gotta be into the same stuff. Some of it at least.
Well, you were very active in fish Twitter. And then Goose Twitter wasn't even a thing when we first started talking.
Yeah, no, there were
There
very
was
few
no
folks out there.
there was like five of us. And people were more ripping on Goose than anything, and we were looking for people to have good conversations with. And then I think the next year is when they did the bracket for Goose, but there was fish brackets all over the place because we
Yeah,
did
it's
song
just
brackets, and that's what we talked about to begin with.
well, I think that one of the crazy things about Goose, and a lot of people will say there are different reasons for it, but it for us and definitely for me with just like I said personally where I was coming like their rise pretty fast and consistent and felt like that kind of mirrored a lot of things going on and or some things going on with me, mostly you. It would just seem really weird as like the rest of the world was maybe going in one direction. Like that's not how I felt
Hmm.
at all. At all. Like it was weird,
No, we
but
were
like
falling in
but
love.
we were falling in love. We're going and doing what we want and the travel is a big part of it for me. And that's what's spread to my kids
Yes.
is that they want to go see shows with friends where the show is, and it's not always here. And it's like, let's travel to go see a show. And like, I think that's so cool that, I've got, two kids in college. My younger one is definitely doing that. My older one does that, but without the music, he just goes away and travels with friends. I'm like, that's great. Like taking that same, you know, model that we've kind of, done. And, we did that, a couple times, Airbnbs with groups of people to go see a show. And like, what a fantastic, not just experience for us, but a way to model to our, those of us, with kids that like, this is a cool thing. And, people who don't have kids that are, falling in love or like, don't want, kids or anything like that. It's still so nice to just model that, like, that's important in your life to model to your family, to go
Yes.
away, spend time with your friends, doing what you like to do, but travel and see places. And, if it weren't for like Goose and Fish, I wouldn't have seen so many different cities. And that's such a weird thing to say, but not to me at all. And I go back and I look at dead tapes from, when I was getting into them, when if I were to look back at that tape, I had no context of other than like, wow, people were on tour, but like, there's a show in the Midwest in the late 80s. Like I know friends who probably went there.
I'm
Like
sure.
like Paul, like went to a
Yeah.
handful of shows. I know that like if I listen to Deer Creek 90, those are some of my favorite shows. By the way, Paulie was there dancing his face off. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
great. That's so cool. And I was at Deer Creek in 21, so I know what the venue looks like. And I was like, oh wow, that's so neat. So just different perspective. And to share that, kind of with you, you ushered me back into a lot of the scene because, like I said, for me, it was very not really social. It was private for me. Like when you get there, obviously I was bonding with people, and you say, "Yeah, when you're at shows, you're totally social." I'm like, "Well, yeah, but that's like the only place."
You're social everywhere,
Yeah,
don't
it's
you
different
lie?
now.
So it was before we actually went to a show together. It was during the pandemic. So we met, and the first time we saw each other in person was May of 2020. And we met and started talking in like February, March. Correct?
Yeah, we met at a hike.
We met at a hike
Mhm.
for one night because I didn't know if you were going to be psycho or weird or something, which you weren't for the most
Not
part.
too much, I guess. No. But
For the
no,
most part.
it's weird, but about that kind of like, long distance or, COVID relationship, like we knew each other.
Yeah. Well, and
I
we
mean, as
should
much
say
as you
I
maybe
live,
can be in a month or so,
yes, we did.
2 months.
We talk to each other a lot though. But
Yeah.
we have to preface this because people don't know. I live in Michigan in Kalamazoo, and Matt lives in New Jersey. So we are it's just short of 600 miles apart from each other right at this
It's
moment.
like 10 hours. Yeah. 10-hour drive. It's a lot.
It's 597 miles. So we met the first time was in May after talking a lot. We did a lot of talking. We did a lot of streaming together, like on FaceTime. We would watch a stream together. We watched the live from T's house shows and a couple dinner and movies and did dates that way through FaceTime. And then we met up in person for the first time in Pittsburgh at a waterfall, and we had a hike and kind of showed up there at the park for the first time meeting each other. And we had a hotel. And in case it was bad, I had an out.
Yeah. And I think that might have
You
been
have an out, honey?
where we were maybe the only car in the parking lot.
Yeah, because we were
maybe it was then, or maybe
outside
that was
walking
another time.
around at night,
Yeah.
and we were just walking around the parking lot, and it was May of 2020.
But
We
listen, the
had a
way
hard
that
time
the day we brought
finding a
you,
hotel
yeah, and you bring
because everything was
wipes,
closed.
just
Yeah,
like you guys were wiping down. We were wiping down groceries. We were wiping down the hotels and
everything.
everything. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was so weird.
yeah, everything. We didn't touch anything in the park. Remember, we didn't even use a bathroom. And because we were looking for hand sanitizer, people were wearing masks walking through the park. We had masks on for a lot of that. And then we were
Yeah.
like, fuck this. We're outside. We're taking our mask off.
And
But
what's cool, I mean, it's also part of our relationship, like the travel, for now. And it's Pittsburgh's halfway.
yep,
So we've been there probably 10 times.
dozen
Yeah.
at least.
And just in terms of just going, and when Goose played there, we were just when they announced shows there near like Valentine's Day, we were just like, yeah, or a show there.
It was
And that was
perfect.
great. We were on the floor, like right close for that Pittsburgh, and
On the rail,
dance
baby. We were
rattling
on the
from yeah,
rail.
yeah. So that was awesome. Big part of our the music has just been a huge part of our relationship. In order to
Yes.
well, look, it's been a lot of date nights watching streams,
Mm-hmm. And
and
dams.
yeah, and the dinner and a movie. It's just been really really nice and fortunate that the music is so available and the
Yeah, I
artists
think that
make
was
it
the
make it
beauty of
so
it.
available. And that all started, you go back to not started necessarily, but like with the Dead, and letting people have the music when they were done with it. And
Well, if we didn't have the streams to watch during the pandemic, as many as there were, it would have been a lot harder. I don't know.
Well,
We would have last.
yeah, I
Like
think
seriously, because it was
no,
hard.
well, look, we like the music, the song brackets were good because there was a new matchup or two, like, or three, whatever, every day. So it was new
Mhm.
music to listen to, talk about. How'd you vote? What's that? What are you voting on? Did you vote today? You
Yep.
know?
Every day
And
we did that.
when the bracket season was happening, it was, usually when the bands aren't touring, like around, this time of year, January, February, like until that stuff starts up. So
But there was no touring. That's why there was so much brackets.
yeah, and it
People
was
were
a good
doing
way
the
to,
fish songs
yeah.
and the shows, and it was all fish brackets like for months and months.
I remember
Thank you,
when
More
like
Plus.
when Sigma Oasis, the album, Fish like dropped the album during the
Yeah.
pandemic and everybody listened to it like live. It was like being at a show with
Yeah.
everyone on Twitter. It was the coolest thing,
That was fantastic. Yeah. There was a
That
lot
that
of
was
people on that.
and especially with that album, how like what is it, Everything's Right and not everything's yeah, is it Everything's Right? And Thread, just jam.
Thread and
Like
Leaves.
yeah, Leaves on there, but like just jam on the studio album. You're like, is this are they what are they doing? So,
It was
they
a jammy album, that's for sure.
so that the artists definitely did their part to create moments that we were able to kind of use as buoys along the way and to plan
Hmm.
like Legend Valley, like planning the next show, especially so like for a long distance relationship, like advice, plan like
Hmm.
that's we have to plan things. And look, when they announce a show 6 months from now, all right, well, we're going. Like
Yep.
I know I'm going with you, and you're going with me, and that's like that's just not how you keep it going, but like that's how part of how we kept it going was planning and travel to see each other to see music.
We still do.
Heck yeah.
We
That's
still do.
that's the fun.
It's actually rarer when we get together and there isn't a show or a stream or something to watch.
Yeah, I remember we got we got snowed in. That's one time. I
Yep.
was like, great. We gotta go home an extra day. Oh well. You
Yep.
stay an extra day. But no, it's
Hmm.
nice when we can do that. Yeah. When we're
Together in the
away to
same.
watch a stream, but it's also nice when I remember we used to bring the lights and the speakers and
Yep.
stuff. Like, yeah, I'm
For
gonna bring the lights. And
Halloween.
I could never get the lights to work because I didn't have like an Ethernet connection or something. I was like, and
You had lights.
Airbnbs and
Weren't we gonna set up in a conference room once and was that Pittsburgh? Were
yeah,
we in
yeah. We
Pittsburgh?
had like we had a like they let us use a conference room to stream if we wanted to. And we wound up not. I don't think we
Yeah,
did
we
it.
wanted to sit in our room and be
Yeah, a
in our
little
room.
more private than that, but they're like, yeah, sure, you can plug it in there. I'm like, really? And then, like huge
We went
table, and
in
like,
there
okay.
and checked it out. And you're like, yep, there's a connection. We could do it.
And
They would
it
freak
was
out.
all like I think it was like glass walls to
It
the
was to the
outside. It's like
outside.
okay, like whatever you're doing here with lights, everyone can see you
Yeah,
outside. It's like okay,
that would have
I
been
didn't want to
weird.
do that. Yeah.
That would have been weird in my PJs.
But I think back to we're definitely your foodies. So going out to eat in different cities and where to go and having just a community to be to kind of rely on for suggestions and things
Hmm.
is something I never really thought about, and now that's kind of a part of what you got going on, which is
Yeah,
just so cool.
connecting everybody.
Well,
So
yeah,
let's
and
talk
it's
about planning trips. That was good because that does make a long distance relationship easier because you got something to look forward to.
it's
But
fun too,
how? Oh, it's a lot of fun because then we get to stay at a different hotel or Airbnb. We've done all the above, friends' houses. We've done it all.
Yeah.
How do we decide which shows we're going to go to? Let's talk about that. I say I want to go to every single one, and then you tell
Right. I'm glad you said that. No, but I think you're a bucket list person in terms of venues. So that makes it easier for me to be
me.
like, all
Hmm.
right, yeah, I'll go out to Colorado, go to Red Rocks.
Yep.
And the circumstances were that like I couldn't make Red Rocks, but I went to
That
the
was
two
so
Dylan shows.
sad.
But yeah, I was moving my kid into college. Like I would never
I
not do
know.
that, but just the timing was like I would have to make every
Felt so
flight, and
bad.
I just I couldn't I can't live that way where I can't miss a flight and
You had to, I know
but
you had to miss Red
no,
Rock.
yeah, but anyway.
But my friend
But
Jeffrey was in your
but you
place.
yeah, and like it's good that were able to like reconnect, too to that part of college friends and that are into the
Yeah.
music again after, however much time, and like
Yeah, and
it's just
introducing Jeff and Lisa, my friends that I went to
to
college with,
Goose,
to
yeah.
Goose,
And
and
they're
them
now like
falling
going
in
to
love with
everything, and it's
them.
just it's
Yes.
just that's what it's about.
So when we plan to go, usually if we can have like one good trip a year. So last year we did Asbury and we rented a house with how many people were in that house? 11 of us, 12 of us?
It was a big
Ended
group.
up being a lot because people kept showing up. And we rented a huge house with a pool just outside of Asbury, and we recruited people from Twitter, and that's how we met Jess and Kara. And it was one of the things that we did for fish, the first fish at Deer Creek after pandemic. We rented a
Yeah.
house with like 10 other people
Yeah, and it
in
was a lot of the
Indy for
guitar
Deer
guys
Creek.
that I had met with, and it was just what a cool thing.
We had so much fun. We met so many awesome people, got to go to was there 3 or 4 shows for that run? 3 shows?
There were 2 Asbury, and then SPAC was after that, and a lot of
No,
people
no,
also
the
went to
ones
SPAC. Which
at Deer
Deer
Creek.
Creek was 3.
That was
Deer
three
Creek was
shows.
3. Yeah,
Great shows too. Very good shows. That was in 22. 22 or 21?
21. Yeah,
It was
Fish
21.
was on fire. That they were doing a lot of the
It was
sounds and
21.
gizmos and stuff, but like they unleashed
It was great
8
shows.
6 21. I think was the big one there.
That was a great show.
Big Simple.
Yeah, that's simple. Oh, so met some fun people doing it that way. That's kind of how we navigate it, is where it's at. Number one, where is this located?
Well, yeah, I'm Jersey and you're Michigan, so yeah, so like Midwest, Ohio is in play,
Yep,
and New York,
Pennsylvania.
Atlantic.
So also planning trips. We try, like I said, to do a trip, and we did Colorado. We do New Year's, so we did Cincinnati and
Yeah, that's the other
Chicago.
thing. It's like a big travel, maybe like usually like one flight a
Yeah,
year and then
flight a
driving,
year.
but that's kind of changed to a few flights a year. Like, but it's
It
okay. I
definitely
mean, it's
has.
definitely something that, like, look, we're adults. You got to budget this stuff, and if you
Yep.
don't, like, you just got to have it there to grab, and but
Been doing pretty
it's
good.
definitely a good
We've been
amount of
doing pretty
money,
good.
and
It takes time too. So we do spend a lot of time talking about it before we actually commit. Most of the time we don't have that much luxury of time before tickets, because usually when they announce them, it's like 2 days later they go on freaking sale. But
yeah, and that's a whole. I mean, everyone does the ticket game, their own
yeah,
way.
we plan on
I
going somewhere. We always get
I
tickets.
want
We've
a
yet to
ticket.
be shut
Like, I want a
out.
ticket. If I'm traveling someplace, I want to have tickets ahead of time.
Yeah.
Nowadays, like, that there are definitely some people who can find tickets more readily than other
Yes.
people. And sometimes that's us, and sometimes it's not, like, depending on the
Mhm.
show. Like, it's fun to plan travel around that, but it is hard, like you said. Like, we want to get to every show that's reasonable, and how far is reasonable.
It's yet to be determined. Well, so far, Europe is not reasonable. That was the only not reasonable.
I think for me, it was. I mean, I don't know how far in advance that was, but like,
It wasn't far enough in
I
advance. It
needed
was like
more. I
3 months.
needed maybe a year, and it's
I
like,
think they announced it in
like
June and it was in October, and we were
November.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, we can't do that. For
but
international, I need a year going forward, Goose. Please clear with us a
yeah,
year at a time.
but I like and again, this is something that I think, like, my kids, look at, and or just they maybe even marvel at it. But like, I could go to a show in several cities alone and find people and know people that are either at the show or going to the show, and it's like, name a city like east of the Mississippi, and chances are, if I'm going to a show there, like, we could find a couple people that we would
Yeah.
know. And it's
Yeah, it
just, it's
turns
so
out
cool.
you can do
And they're
that
not
for
all from
anywhere.
there. Like, a lot of them travel to there, and depending on
Yeah.
who and when, but like, any fish show, like, there's going to be people that
Mm-hmm.
and Goose,
Absolutely.
like most Goose, like, there's going to be people who will, like, recognize you,
Yep.
and that's just like, it's fun, and
It
that's
is
all
fun.
through this community here. But with us and planning, yeah, we kind of look at, like, you got a bucket list of places you definitely want to go at least once. When they announce is always, an
The hard
issue
part.
between how quickly we can can or can't do it. Your job, days off, travel. If it's summer, I'm a teacher, so summer's, open sometimes. So you never know.
All the above. So let's talk about a story with how we have dated, like what we did. Since we're long distance and we met on the internets, the interwebs.
I think interesting. We do yoga almost every day together on YouTube.
We do it every day. Yeah.
We watch the same yoga video and we're on our ear pods with each other, AirPods, whatever, watching and doing yoga together. And I don't think we undervalue it, but like when we talk to other people, like, or like, and I mentioned that, like, it goes
Kind of
right
blows
over
some
their
people
head.
away.
It goes right there. It goes over their head. They don't realize. And then when you sit down and tell them, they're like, what? You're like, yeah. Like we're on the phone like all day. Like
Yeah.
it feels like we used to be able to.
We used to be
And
able to when I was
with your
working late.
job and like your shift stuff, and I was part-time for a while, and so it was we talked a lot about this stuff. We watched a lot of streams, so but our dates,
Well, what else did we do?
cooked,
What did we
tried
do?
cooking together, and I didn't have the patience for
We
how
did that like
slowly you
3
cook.
or 4 times. Like
Yeah,
we did a
and you're
dinner
too
and a
slow
movie.
and follow all the directions, and it comes out looking like a magazine. And I'm too impatient, and it comes out looking like the same no matter what I cook. Yeah, and I
You're
don't
a
really
good
care
cook.
as much.
Stop.
But no, we tried that. But no, we watched a lot of movies together.
The cooking was fun. And we would do it during a dinner and a movie actual broadcast, or we try and do it like before. I don't know how many times did we do it where we, okay, we're gonna start cooking at like 5 and we wouldn't be
Oh
done till
yeah,
9 o'clock at
and the
night.
show's over.
The
We've
show's
got to pick
over.
another show to watch while we eat because the 3-hour broadcast is done already, and we're like, you're still making.
I'm still cooking. Yours is done. And you're like, what are you doing? So we had to stop doing that because
Yeah.
somebody was impatient with it.
Yeah, but we made that. Was
The
it
Italian one
the
was
pasta
really
fagioli? Oh my
good. The
gosh,
pasta
that was
fagioli, the
that was
stuffed
insane.
pepper. Remember the
There were
stuffed
some good
peppers? Those were
recipes with a dinner and a
delicious.
movie. So if you haven't tried like those or know that was a thing,
Go
during the
look 'em
pandemic,
up.
Fish went back into their catalog and just released video streams of old shows, and people watched them at the same time. And it's called Dinner and a Movie, and they gave out recipes for food to make while you watch the show. And some people did it. A lot of people did it. We tried it a few times. I think a lot of times because of work, we maybe watched and did that like the next day or that
We did it
week
on
or
the
something.
weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
we
that's
did it on
okay
the
'cause
weekend
it
a
was
couple
still
times.
there for us, and it was something that we packaged and say, okay, these are going to be our things.
They gave you the ingredients and a whole recipe, and it was awesome.
And look, and I think this might have also been because this was pandemic and there wasn't a lot of this going on necessarily. But remember, we dressed up.
Yeah, we would dress up
sometimes.
for dates because we
Yeah,
never dressed up because I couldn't
and
go
look,
out.
It's like it sounds great. I wanted to see you in a dress. Like we went camping or we went hiking the first time, like I want to see you dressed up and I want you to see me and like, looking like I
nice,
showered,
dapper.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, it was if you're doing a long distance, thing, like I wanted to see that. I wanted to do those things, together. Like we had like candlelight dinners together where we made the same dinner, like because we wanted to be in the same room, and we did.
We did that several times. That was fantastic.
Yeah, and then going away with each other to see shows, and then to not.
The first one we saw
shows.
together was Westville for Goose. The first Westville for Goose.
And it was
21
so great because it was Connecticut. It was a local show for them after. It was like a celebration of what they did in the pandemic, I think. So from 20 to 21, like they stuck it out. They grew so much, not just in terms of the fan base, but in terms of where some of their music went.
They put out so much material. So much material.
Well, yeah, SOS, that whole Shenanigans album was like that was a nice effort, by them. And some of those songs are like, they're show staples. Like you hear SOS, it's like the best one. It's the best, like a highlight of the set every time you see it. And maybe doesn't have the same listenability on recordings when you go back, unless you were at that show. But
SOS Dawn is my favorite. I friggin' love it. It's such an emotional thing.
And I remember Dawn specifically for us at those shows were just that was just like, can't wait to hear Dawn.
Yeah. And they
Just
played
those
it.
just a real emotion. And that again with this band, that's just the emotional um feel that I get with some of their music is just it's such a draw.
Getting to finally go to a show in Westville, that was like you had gone to the South Farm shows. So that
Yeah,
was his
yeah.
first one. My
The
first
first
show
two,
for
yeah.
Goose was in Grand Rapids in pre-pandemic, right before, like 2 weeks before
Yeah, you were doing that
pandemic.
when they were opening for Pigeons, right?
It was the Pigeon
Oh
opener,
my
yeah.
gosh. That's when I
And it
listened to
was,
so much of their music from stream and I was like, wow.
yep.
Like just
People were live
the
streaming them on
Mixlers or
Facebook like
Facebook or
crazy.
wherever they were. And I was like,
Hmm.
wow, good.
They were fantastic. And that was the first show I went with my friend, and um then was watching them on the streams with you. And that's, I mean, I've been to like 4 shows total without you, 3 shows without you.
I think what's also big about, the long distance is like we tried to see each other every month, and if it wasn't, every
It's
2 months,
pretty
like
regular.
you want to try to be regular about it, and it's not like, and we have common interests. Like I said, we like food, we like going out to do like gardens and museums and like
Hiking and,
yeah. So it's having a common interest certainly helps.
the music catapulted that. That's what kind of is the backlier is music.
Yeah, and it's similar histories with the time frame in which we were seeing music.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
not like brand new, but it certainly changed a lot.
So what the future holds. So do you want to talk about what the future holds?
For us,
You want to say, yeah, maybe. What does the future hold for us?
yeah,
We're
I
going to be
mean,
going to more shows, obviously. Lots more shows. We're going to the Sphere for all 4 nights,
yeah,
planned so far.
I can't believe like that was you're like, we're going. I was like,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna stop you, and I'm like, let's. And then when we were able to look at it, and then the on sale, comes out, and how much the craziness was, and I was like, I can't believe we're going.
It's something, again, to look forward to, is that we plan shows in the future. Moving closer to each other is definitely a plan.
Hmm.
It's always been since the beginning. We were waiting for certain things to happen and fall into place, but I still have a little bit more work to go before I can officially retire. Less than four
I
and a half
think,
years.
and it's part of like the mobility piece too. Like, I don't know if everybody, but like, I'd love to be able to just get like like a Sprinter van and just do a tour, like rent one or get one or make one or however, and just do that and not like forever, not live in it and be, the van life, but like do that for a little while just to enjoy each other's company and traveling and seeing shows and especially if the scene continues to be just as not just fertile with some of the new bands, but just the established acts touring so much. Like you can mix it up. It's not like you're just going to go see Goose or just go see Fish. Like you can go see 5, 6, 7, 8 bands that are all like the kind of music you like, and go see 8 different cities
Mm-hmm.
and make that happen. And that's kind of stuff I see for us either in the middle or as a destination point
Oh,
before we
that's
can
definitely going to happen once I
but
retire.
like
When
that's
I
a
retire,
goal.
that's what I will be doing, and I'm hoping you're there with me.
Yeah, I may be doing that until you retire. It's not, and not everybody does or has to, but I think a good number of people in the scene just have the bug. It's the
Yeah.
travel bug and the music bug. I think they're often common. And if you're willing to, if you're willing to, if travel is what you like in common, seeing music is awesome. It's just such
Just
a
a
fun.
bonus.
Yeah, and finding the time and the money is obviously different for everybody, but like I was saying, the bands are so available now. There's a lot of touring, and yeah, depending on where you are, you can complain that this band doesn't come here ever and all that. And like, okay, but it doesn't take a ton of effort and necessarily even resources to go see a band somewhere. Like, you don't have to be local. Like, you can travel, get a hotel, go out to eat, and spend the weekend, and it's reasonable. And whatever your definition of reasonable is or not, but like, I don't mind driving like 6 hours to go spend a weekend somewhere.
Mm-mm.
And some people do. And I'm like, I would, that's fine for now. Yeah.
For now, for a little while anyways, huh?
Yeah. But especially with somebody, like, heck yeah, let's roll. Let's go somewhere.
I look forward to it. That's the story of us. I think we covered everything and then some.
It was fun to connect with you like this.
It was fun to connect with you too.
No, this is really fun. I'm really happy to help with what you ladies are doing here. I think it's important that you have not only have a voice, but give it. Love it.
Well, we just want
What?
to spread the love and show everybody else that if you think, because a lot of people complain that they're alone and they can't meet anybody. And if you're on Twitter and doing that, you're missing an opportunity. You don't need a dating app to match you up.
No, do
So
what you
that's all
do what
we're
you like to
here.
do. You'll find
That's all
people
we're
that
here to
like you.
do is try to get people to reach out so that they're not alone and they end up as happy as we are together.
Good luck, everybody, and
Thank you, honey.
dance.
Reintroducing our new segment, Missed and Made Connections. Did someone catch your eye at a recent show, but you were too spun to introduce yourself? Were they across the way and you couldn't get through the crowd? Were you just a little too shy to shoot your shot, but have later regrets? DM us and we'll help you find them. Send us a brief description of who you're looking for and in the situation you spotted them, and we will shout it out in the hopes that we can connect the dots. We already have a submission. Dear Banana Boy, I saw you from across the Coliseum. You in blue bananas, me in sequins. The green sweatband kept your hair pushed back so you could dance like no one was watching. But I was. We made eye contact a few times, but the crowd was too much of a jungle to run through. Let's jungle boogie together next time. Forever blowing bubbles, Lonely Space Girl. Thank you to whoever submitted that post. If you might know this person, please contact us so we can make the introduction. As a reminder, we will keep all things anonymous except for the actual connection, of course.
Thanks, Jess. Now let's jump back to Niki and our guest Casey to discuss Jam of the Year. As a reminder, if you want to come on and discuss Jam of the Year with Niki next month, please DM us on Twitter or Instagram.
Welcome to Flock Talk, Casey.
Thank you.
I
Thank
have
you for
Casey
having
on
me.
with us to talk about Jam of the Year. This is for 2023, and she was one of the very few women to respond to my call for whoever input a bracket or had opinions for the most part. And so we're just going to chat about what we did for Jam of the Year, how we feel about it, do a little bit of recap right now that we're into it, and then go on from there. So I'm going to ask you, though, a little bit of background in your jam band experience. Like, when did you start listening to
Sure.
jam bands? What is your main focus? Just a little bit about a bit of background would be fantastic.
Sure. So, I mean, I guess I've always kind of had a toe in since I was like end of high school, like beginning of college age, like 18 years old or so. But I actually like didn't really fully commit to like, I guess the jam band culture until probably like 2017 or 2018. I always had a toe in, like a lot of my friends were into that. My like, now husband has like always been kind of a jam kid, but I always kind of like skewed more towards like, I guess, hipster type things and was like a little bit pretentious with my music learnings. But over the years, kind of as like my taste developed, even listening to kind of like non-jam band music, I realized like the parts of music I really liked actually were kind of these more like sprawling, like psychedelic moments, even in bands that aren't like necessarily considered jam bands. And so I decided to just like stop being too cool for school and just give in. And it's been really fun. It's like a totally different feel in like the best way. So I would say, 2018 onwards. And then like for Goose specifically, I started hearing about them in like 2019, but actually didn't even get to see a live show till 2022. I was out on the West Coast, and obviously the pandemic kind of rerouted a few things for
Yeah.
everybody. So yeah, but I'm all in, 2 feet in, and it's been full tilt the last 2 years, I guess, since I
Absolutely.
saw them live. Yeah.
That does it, is once you see them live, you're hooked. I don't think there's any
Yeah.
way around it at that point.
Yeah.
Are you into any other bands? Like, do you like Fish, Disco Biscuits,
Yeah,
Humphreys,
love
anything like that?
Fish. Like I've seen them a couple dozen times or so, but
Good.
Fish's catalog is just so intimidating that I feel like even though I've seen them like a good amount of times, I'm still just like feel like it's hard to like get into such a deep catalog too.
It's
But
huge. It's
Yep.
huge. Yeah, I could
Yeah.
totally understand that being a little bit overwhelming. I guess is a
Yeah,
good word for it.
absolutely. But I will definitely see them. Saw them last in Seattle when they came through. I live in Portland, Oregon. It's harder to tour out west. It's just like
It
it's more spread
is.
out.
It is. You got a bigger
Yeah.
area to cover. So you're kind of,
Yep, totally. I
you
know.
kind of
It's
got to
kind
wait
of
for
a
them to come towards you. I'm sure it's a little bit
Yes.
easier when they do hit West Coast.
But I have I think back in the day, I've seen the Disco Biscuits a few times. I wouldn't
Mhm.
really say it's like something I'm gonna like travel to go see.
Yeah.
I think I've seen like Lotus a few times, String Cheese Incident, like back in the day. But
All good
I would
stuff.
say as of right now, it's like I really like Fish, Goose, and really liking what Eggy and Daniel Giovanna are doing
I
these
know,
days
isn't
too.
that, they're great.
They came through here like to opening for I think for Twiddle, and we didn't stay for like the whole show, but we just went for Eggy and then cruised after.
Yeah, I've done that.
But
I've done that.
it's all I'll dabble in whatever these days. But yeah, I'd say those are kind of the more like jam specific bands I'm into
Okay.
at the moment. Yeah.
Cool. If you like music, I'm a fan of you. I don't care what
Yeah.
kind. All right.
Cool.
So the reason, and I'm not gonna say this is a bad thing, but my co-hosts are not active in the bracket.
Oh,
They wanted to stay away from the music, which I totally do too, like as far as the pod
Yeah.
goes. We're not going to review shows. We don't
Yeah.
have the chops to sit there and be like, oh, this is Rick's guitar or Trey's guitar. I don't know the
Right.
freaking rig setup. I just know what I like for music.
Totally.
And I've been doing the bracket since it started. I've been used to be really vocal. I've kind of laid off a little bit just because what tended to happen is that as a woman, I would be told I was being bitchy when a guy would say the same thing, and it would be more like in fun and jest.
Yes.
So it wasn't being taken the right way. And I think it's just because there's lack of women in it. And I think this is
Yes.
probably a good opportunity for us to like get more women involved and to show it's not really that intimidating. You just got to pick what you like.
Totally. And I think that's a huge thing. Like for me, it's less about like an actual competition of songs and like picking like the jam of the year. And it's honestly just a really good reflective exercise on
Exactly
how your year was and like what got you, what hit your soul,
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. And everybody has a different opinion because everybody listens differently through different ears, different filters.
Exactly.
Being at a show, not being at a show, streaming, what you were doing, all that kind of factors in. So
Absolutely.
that's why I wanted to get somebody else on here because a lot of the people, the guys, are very vocal.
Yep.
They tend to shut down people, and it can be inclusive. It can feel a little bit crazy. And a couple of the people on there are like, it's more gatekeeping. I don't think it's gatekeeping. I just think people, just like sports.
Yeah.
They want their song to win.
Competitive edge, It's
exactly. And I have a little bit of a competitive in me, not a whole lot, but especially when it comes to music, I'm not going to hold back. I will tell you what I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Well, cool. I love that. I mean, this is the first year I've ever done it just because
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah, this was the first time. I mean, from what I don't know, I feel like they changed it this year. Maybe I didn't have a Twitter till like earlier this year, to be honest. And I feel like maybe in years past it was like only on Twitter and maybe Facebook, and I like didn't have either. Didn't have either of those platforms until recently. So, I mean, this was like the first year I was like started thinking about it from the beginning. I kind of like tuned in a little bit on years past, but just like didn't like participate in it.
Sure.
But yeah, but this year I actually like started at the beginning of the year compiling my own playlist, and I would like do that from what shows I would go to, and then from like just listening to shows that I didn't attend, and just like my own personal jam of the year playlist, and then
Sure.
started just kind of cutting it down from there and submitted it and tried to be really like methodical about it, but not in a way where, you know, it's kind of a nice, like I said earlier, way to like reconnect with maybe things you forgot throughout the year and
Exactly.
see if like some of those moments actually like do hold up when you're not in attendance.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's cool. I mean, I think that we'll see how it skews next year, because I do feel like my top songs ended up being mostly from shows I was at, and I really tried to like not have attendance bias be a part of it, but you know, it's just so different.
You can't help it.
You can't.
It is just attendance, because you have people there. You're in a different state of mind. Maybe something's going on in your life, and that all kind of factors in. And how you view a song is going to be completely different when you're there than when you're just streaming it or just following up to listen when they post it. So it's huge. That makes a huge difference. And it's hard to separate those because we're human. And that's how we see everything, is through our own lens. And I think that's a big factor to keep in mind, is that most people that are like really pushing for a certain song is because they were there.
Yeah. I think the reason all of us in this community and who like jam bands and things is because it's like such a visceral, like full body experience, like getting to go to those shows and whatnot. It's not just about like the technicalities of the song or anything. It's kind of like a more of a felt sense, which is like, you know, that's kind of a level I like to go on with in life a little bit more too. I tried not to like overthink the technicalities of any jams too much. It was more kind of like, I did kind of tend to rank things higher that I thought were like a little bit different or just like stood out more as maybe not being like the classic, like, you know, peaky jam or whatnot. But it was kind of more like what, you know, what do I remember, and like what kind of vibe and attitude.
Right on. No, that's exactly it. That's exactly how I kind of went through them myself too. Talk a little bit more about the Jam of the Year bracket. So I've done it for the past 3 years. It did change. So it used to be the first year, I think they just, trying to remember, they chose on their own what songs would be in there. And then the bracket came out. Last year, we submitted a list. And I do remember doing like an Excel list and sending it in with a lot of songs.
I vaguely remember that, and I was a little overwhelmed by
it was a lot to do. And it was at New Year's time, and like we were in Cincinnati trying to see Goose and trying to get that out. And then when they put out the actual playlist, it was like trying to listen to everything, because you know, I've watched, I can say I've seen every show that they have streamed. If it's streamed, I'm watching it. I don't care if I see the whole thing. And then I try and listen to them as opposed to them if I don't get to, or I re-listen to them. So this year it was the playlist. So you did submit a playlist?
I did. Yeah. And I think that if I hadn't been working on it consistently all year, it probably would have been really intimidating. But luckily I was already kind of like, I want to like keep track of like songs that I felt like were like really stood out to me as like potential, like, you know, epic jams throughout the year. And so that made it a lot easier than just like at the end of the year trying to be like, oh yeah, what was that? And, you know, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard if you're, you know, depending on like how many shows you get to go to in a year and whatnot. So it made it a lot easier.
Yes, that's very smart, actually. I should start doing that, like playlist wise, like throwing a song in that really piques my interest during a show, and then at the end of the year I'm more prepared instead of like rushing, because I had a job, thank goodness, where I could listen to music all day for like, I don't know, it was like 4 months. And so I re-listened to everything up until Louisville. And then I got put in a different position where I couldn't really listen. I can still listen, but just not like continuously and make notes and stuff. So I had like these notes of all these like Post-its for every show, and it helped me up until that point. But then I had to pick up where I left off, and it took a while, but I listened through everything. I had like 92 songs on my playlist.
Yeah, sounds familiar. I know. I was kind of like,
I'm like, I'm just putting it all in there. I love all these. What's wrong? And they only take the 64. And I'm like, whatever. You know now what I wanted. The process of listening, you beat that one. That's very good. I'm very impressed. I would have to say that I'm gonna have to start doing that. So when the bracket came out, did you listen to all the songs that were on there, like ones that you hadn't submitted, just to kind of get an idea of what you were dealing with?
I did. I listened to all of them, I guess, over the course of like whatever those couple weeks were. And yeah, I tried during that time to just like have a more objective take on things. I mean, very hard because, you know, I think it just brings you right back to where you were at the shows. But it's
absolutely.
But yeah, it was great, you know, walking the dog, going on a run, just like doing things around the house, listen to the whole playlist, and kind of a nice, like, you know, summary of the year and see like what moments there were.
And and beyond that, it's just a great playlist to have. I gave that to a couple people who were like, what's some good goose to listen to? I'm like, here, these are all the good ones. This is like the best one you can get. So I've sent it to like 3 or 4 people, and it's good to keep. I kept my one from the past 2 years, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Your process for going through songs and deciding what you want. You said it's basically, you know, from what hit your soul the most, which I totally get. Is there a way you narrowed some down? Like, I had a lot of Elizabeths, and I had a lot
I did too.
of Rosewoods because I'm a big Rosewood person. So I'm like, okay, I kind of like compared the two and listened to the jam part of it. Just to kind of like eliminate some of them. What was your process to pick and choose between certain songs, or like maybe you had too many from one show, you felt like you need to spread your love more? How'd you do that?
I think I would like go through in like a paired way. So maybe not even like all of the same song, and just kind of do like single elimination. And I think I just kind of picked ones that I thought were like maybe like a little bit more unique jam than what the band like would normally do, or something that just even after I listened to it, maybe I was like, which one would I rather listen to again, like immediately after listening to both of these? Like, which one was just like more intriguing and at the top of mind, and I guess more memorable in a way? It's like, ooh, which ones like kind of just, you know, are on my brain and I can't shake them. That's kind of was like my
you
metric.
keep going back to.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's certain ones you just can't get enough of. Usually that's how I am. I'm like, I replay songs over and over. Sometimes I'll just skip the song, go right to the jam, and be like, oh my gosh, this is so fantastic.
I know. I did that for a few, like when I was getting towards the end. It's just like, you know, let's just get into the jam, you know.
I kind of have to.
I mean, I love all these songs, but I don't need another Born or Redbird, like,
exactly.
You know,
I know what that part's about. Give me the jam.
Let's get into the meat.
And I'm one of those people who, for the longest time, I would not just listen to certain songs in a set. I'd have to listen to a whole set. I'm just that type of, it's kind of a flow. But once Jam of the Year came out, I was like, all right, I understand now. I get it. And it was easier to narrow stuff down and like really feel like I'm listening to the jam part of it and not just to a song, quote unquote. And I think that kind of helped me with it. So I got to give credit where credit is due. It kind of got me into listening to songs better instead of like being set on just hearing the whole set or the whole show. But that's how I felt about it, at least anyways, for a while. It's changed how we listen to music, I think.
Yeah, I think it's easier to like appreciate certain moments of uniqueness. And I think it's like, it's interesting to compare these jams among different shows and like find like, oh, I like these 2 jams because I feel like maybe there were like similarities between these 2 that, you know, cropped up a few times this year and whatnot. So you get to see like maybe like new patterns of things that the band's like trying out like among different shows that maybe would get like lost in like the flow of an entire show. But when you like compare just the jam segments, you're like, oh, the reason I like this one and this one is because they have this similarity. So
exactly.
it's cool.
That's a really good point.
But I'm with you. I like kind of the, I love the Briggs sprawling jams, but I kind of feel like in the full context of like the set is like a nice thing because you can't have like all your songs be. I mean, you can.
Right.
I love a
It's
30
really
minute epic,
hard.
but
I think a big part of what the jam bracket is like, yes, you've got these 45-minute songs that sometimes are a little much. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's a little much. It's a little bit of an exposure to a couple different jams within it. Like, is there like a 45-minute echo? Isn't that the
there is.
you were
Yeah.
probably there. Were you at that show?
I was
Oh,
at that show. It was amazing. I mean, that is my my number one. And I tried to like not make it that, but I'm like, it was just so sick. Like, I know. I've, we don't need to get into the specifics if you don't want the music, but I'm like, I've listened to many other shows and like
oh
that
no,
was just a really cool thing.
that was
See, and, like,
fantastic. So let's talk about your rankings then.
Yeah.
So how are you doing in the bracket? Like, as far as like your predictions, like, you know where you're standing? Do you pay attention to that even?
See, I kind of just filled it out of like, what would I pick? So I didn't like make picks to win, which I am like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to like fill out like as if this is like a proper bracket. So I think I'm actually still doing well. One of my top picks got knocked out the other day.
That's a bummer, isn't it?
First, Elizabeth from Vegas.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, that was fun.
I love that. That's my
Yeah.
number two, and I mean, that show was incredible and like one of those like really cool progressions, and it's just beautiful.
Yes,
it just
it's
like
fantastic.
makes me cry every time I hear it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
that's how I am
metric
too.
Which ones make me cry, and that's how I picked you,
Damn straight, sister. That's how I am.
Get
I've
into
done
it.
that several times. That's exactly how I think about it too. Is like, if I feel something, I'm definitely putting it high. So let me ask you, I'm looking at the bracket as we speak right now, mine picked out. What's your final four? Let's talk about final four, because
okay,
we'll narrow it down to that.
So my final four, I don't necessarily think is probably going to be like the final four of what ends up winning, but my final four would be like the Seattle Echo for sure, 45-minute rock epic, the Vegas Elizabeth. I know on paper this isn't even like the best Madhavan, but I love the Electric Ballroom November 20th Madhavan. It's so good, and I just like, it's so cool. I think that one and the Elizabeth Jam have like some similarities, which I think is why I both like them. And then number four would be the Eugene Born. So I mean, all my top four, I was like had the good fortune of like being able to be at those shows. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I have a couple of
mention, to the Indian River on back in April. That one's already knocked out.
Yeah, that one, unfortunately, which is sad. That Indian River was good. It was very good. Last year, I picked based on my heart. So I picked like, I love this song. This one's going to win. Everybody else will love it. And then I kept getting let down, and I was so mad.
I know.
I was so mad. I'm like, why doesn't everybody love what I love? It's just, I took it too personal. So this year I was like, you know what? I'm going to choose based on what I think is going to win, because what I want and what I think are never the same thing in most cases. So some of them are, yes. Like my final four is Hunger Salt, the Salt Shed Hunger Site, which I was at, the Louisville Arrow, which I can't get enough of, the Madhavan from Ryman Madhavan.
Oh, yeah, love that one. I know.
And it's the Cleveland All I Need from the Agora. Those are my final four. And then my final two, I have Salt Shed Hunger Site and the All I Need from Agora. I don't know why I picked that over the Madhavan. I think just because Madhavan has done so well in so many ones. I'm like, people are going to pick it just because it's not Madhavan. They won't pick it.
Right.
And then I have the All I Need winning, which probably won't have. Actually, I think the Hunger Site will probably win, just because.
I was going to say, on my like what I think will win, I think it will be the Hunger Site.
I think it's going to be the Hunger Site.
People love that. I don't not love it. It's just like not one that I like want to go back to a lot. And I don't know why. I mean, those shows were amazing. It's just, like you said, I really picked from the heart this year. Your list is like much more realistic of like what I think.
And it hurt to do that. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
was a little bit painful. I'm like, man, I can't
know?
believe I have to put these in like this, but these are the ones that I think are going to win instead of what I want to win. And other people might be picking differently. But I'm doing all right. I'm like 100 and some people. So I'm hanging in there. I'm holding on with but I'm doing all right. And it's all because I'm not picking with my heart. I'm picking with my head.
I think next year I'll do like 2 different brackets. I'll do
And
like my fantasy bracket, and then I'll do like what I actually think is how it's going to pan out.
A lot of people do that. That's what Matt did. That's what my boyfriend did. He's like, I'm putting it in for what I know people will pick, and what I want to pick, I'm going to do a whole nother one. One last question for you, because I don't want to keep you forever. How do you think we could get more women to participate in the future?
Oh, go ahead.
Because I know it's intimidating sometimes to people, but it's really just opinions. And if you're willing to spend just a little bit of time, submit your bracket.
I know. I was thinking about that. I feel like maybe people do. They just like don't vote. I don't know. I think maybe just trying to take like the competitive aspect out of it in some way would be like a fun thing to do. Yeah, I was like kind of hemming and hawing about that the other day, because I feel like I know quite a few gals out there who participate in things like, Fantasy Goose and things like that. And I don't know. I think you just maybe like start thinking about it all year, and just like, do it from like a place of like what you like to listen to, rather than trying to win a fake bracket or anything like that. You could treat it like a book club. Like maybe we just have discussions about songs that are like not on the platform of like Twitter, which is just, on like the internet, which can be so funny and full of haterade sometimes.
It is a lot of
I think
that, unfortunately.
Yeah, totally. Maybe even just making, I think, the voting process a little easier, whether that be like, an email that gets sent out every day, rather than having to like log on to something, or like
That's
a
a good
really
idea.
basic app or something like that, where people
That's a
can
good
just do
idea.
it and not have to like engage with the internet in that way. Because even like going in online to vote every day, it's like, oh, what trash are people gonna be talking about? So it's I think if you can just take that like intimidation factor out of it, more people will get involved. Yeah, any way to just streamline the process so that people don't have to like maybe work as hard, I think will be good for all, and good for women too.
I think so. That's a really good hunk of advice. Well, I thank you so much for taking time to talk to us today, Casey. Hopefully you can come on again. We can talk about a lot of stuff. We'd love to have you back sometime.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you so much, Niki, for having me. And this was cool. I, never done anything like this before, but I'm just trying, I think 2023 was the year of like coming to the full realization that Goose is like a big part of my life now. And I just want to be more engaged with like the community at large, rather than just like my circle of friends within the scene. So thank you so much. And I'm really proud of you guys for what you're doing out there.
This pod is made by women for everyone. We wouldn't be here without you, and we want to hear from you all. Please go to our website guest fill-in form, DM us on Twitter or Instagram, and let us know what you're up to. We are planning segments to cover it all. Are you starting a new fashion line? Volunteering with the community? Did something in the jam scene change your life? Come tell us about it. We wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't ask you to follow us on all the socials and rate us on your favorite podcast app. We'll be back in March for Women's History Month. Talk to y'all soon.